to 9, and it was already mid third quarter. Were you guys freaking out? And everyone said no, no. There was never any panic. There was never anybody like
Why would
losing
you?
their cool. It's just insane the discipline that team has and the belief that they have. I mean, I don't know how they do it. There's no other team that would do that, that would keep their cool in a situation when everything is falling away from them. And it seemed to the man, it was like that they were sitting next to each other being interviewed so they could just repeat the thing that the person next to them said. They were all separated and they were asking them these questions. And to the T, they were all saying, nope, there was never a moment where there was panic. Nobody ever yelled. We knew what the job was. We knew we had time to do it. And it's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean,
crazy.
that's the thing. How many football games have you watched that's like late in the fourth quarter and the other team's down 16? So 2 touchdowns with the conversions, and you're like, oh, if this, they can tie it and go to overtime. And every time you're like, that's never going to happen. But with this game, you were like, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Like, there was never a slight doubt in my mind that when they scored, they were going to convert.
Yep.
There was never a slight doubt in my mind that when they won the toss, they were going to march right down and score. When they got the ball and late in the fourth quarter with, a little over 2 minutes to go, there was never any doubt that they weren't going to drive down and score. Like, you were just so confident.
Yeah.
And they probably have that times a billion, and that's why they keep doing it.
When it was 28-9 and the Patriots settled for 3, what did you guys think? Because part of me was like, man, I don't know if settling 3 was the right thing there. I think they maybe should have went
Absolutely.
for it.
We actually looked at each other and said, what would you do? Kick the field goal. I said kick the field goal. You said kick the field goal too,
Yeah,
didn't you?
I said kick the field goal.
I thought kicking the field goal was
I
the smart
had the
thing to
field
do.
goal bet, though, so that's why I was a little biased on that one. I'm sure Belichick didn't have Gutskowski over.
But did you see how many times Tom Brady threw the football? I mean, that's
62.
That's
62.
a lot.
That's like a Texas Tech Big 12 game.
Think of that. Okay, on the flip side, nobody realizes this, but that's 62 times the Falcons' cornerbacks and safeties and linebackers are running around trying to catch or follow 4 or 5 fast as shit little guys around the field. I mean, they were gassed at the end. That's why the overtime, the first drive. Actually, I heard on Dan Lebitard, he said the play of the game was the coin flip. Them winning the coin flip in overtime. It's just that the Falcons defense was so tired, and they went right down the field. It looked like they were on easy on a video game.
Hey, you know what? A hell of a game that no one's going to remember.
Grady Jarrett, defensive tackle.
Dwight Freeney.
Oh, how about the interior? The Grady Jarrett though, he had 3 sacks.
Oh, I mean, obviously yes, but I mean, considering Dwight Freeney's like 40 years old, and everybody thought he was out of the NFL. At least I did. It's kind of crazy that, he was able to, find his youth again and have an incredible football game. He was unblockable for a good portion of that game.
I mean, they sacked Tom 5 times, and like you were saying last week, you got to get pressure on Tom if you're going to beat him, and they did it, and they just still couldn't beat the guy.
You know what? So the 2 biggest plays of the game, I thought, was the one that we already covered, the 3rd and 1 fumble. But I think the second biggest play of the game that nobody is mentioning again was the LeGarrette Blount fumble. In the first quarter. That completely, it seemed to kind of rattle the Patriots a little bit.
Sure. Absolutely.
I mean, they looked like that they were about to go down and score at least a field goal, if not go down and get a touchdown. And it seemed like their defense was on their heels after that. And they didn't respond very well. But that fumble was a huge turning point in the game.
I mean, for me, it was the only time I was like, the Patriots could lose was when Brady threw that pick 6. And you were like, oh, man. Like, they're going to come back, but that's you're looking at 21-0. That's a lot of points to come back from. But you're right. The Patriots certainly didn't play a perfect game, but in the second or last 17 minutes of the game, they really were. Yeah. Every single play you knew was going their way.
And James White was just he was out of this world.
You know what, though? You know what? It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's James White. It doesn't matter. It could be anybody. It's just the Patriots system. They can plug anybody in.
He was playing out of his mind, though. Man.
He
was breaking tackles.
But
I've never seen that guy break tackles before. He was
you're right.
Just he was on a whole new level last night.
But Brandon and I were talking about this earlier today. So you look at the Patriots and you look at their skill positions, and it's insane what they've done with no talent. Brady obviously 6th round, wide receivers Edelman 7th, Amendola, Hogan undrafted, Malcolm Mitchell was their highest drafted wide receiver at 4th round.
And he's a rookie.
That's crazy. And then running backs, crazy. Blunt was undrafted because he punched a guy in the face. Lewis was a 5th rounder, and White was a 4th rounder. They're doing it with guys that you could just pull out of anywhere. They're not doing this with studs.
Drew, they kind of remind me of the Tampa Bay Rays of the NFL in a way. Isn't it? It's such a slap in the face to all these other teams, and I kind of love it. This is why I'm having this battle of not being happy for the Patriots, because of the way they do things is so admirable. But they're taking guys, they're just plugging anybody in, and it's so funny when you see these other teams draft quarterbacks first overall, or the big name receiver, running back. It just goes to show you that. You don't need a Calvin Johnson, right? Like, what did that guy ever do for the Lions? It's really about the system. If you have the right system, you can plug anybody in.
I don't think it's also, I mean, system, of course, but they have, everybody who plays for the Patriots has a mental toughness that's incredible, and they're and they know how to defend or attack situational football like nobody's ever seen. There's never any panic. I watch the Patriots probably more than anybody, just because I watch AFC's football, and that team, they just never ever panic.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Dude, watching AFC's football is not a pleasure. It's torture.
It sounded tough. I winced
really
when you
bad.
said it. I winced.
Yeah.
Rather bang Ryan Gosling.
I mean, you could I'd throw that in a lot of categories.
All right. Well, I think that's enough about. Yeah, we're no experts here, but that's.
Let's move on. So I want to ask you guys, because I felt like, I probably took too many prop bets, but again, I think
I'm pretty sure you did took too many.
It was too many.
Wait. Let's set an over under on how many prop bets you took, Drew.
What do you think?
I'm gonna put it at 18.5.
Oh, I would go under. That's a lot.
It was 21. It was 21.
Craig took 21 prop bets.
I just got a little too involved.
That's just too much to keep up with.
It was way too much.
He was on his phone
My brain
the
was
entire
crossed,
time.
Yeah,
it's just not enjoyable.
It was enjoyable, but it was too.
All right, what was your best one? What was your worst one?
What I was going to say my worst one was, I would say Matt Ryan attempts, because I think it was at 38.5, and he had less than 20. It wasn't even. I thought the game would be kind of flipped.
Less than 30.
Huh?
Attempts. Matt Ryan.
It might have been less than 20, dude. He did not throw the ball a ton.
I thought he had like 24. Anyways,
20,
okay.
It was 23. It was 23.
Yeah, so nowhere close to it, even with the overtime. But
they only had 46 plays.
So that was the one I was the farthest away from by a ton. But there were a couple that I loved just for the Super Bowl that you can't get in other games. So this was one that was tough to track, but a lot of fun. Was total penalty yardage. I had Falcons over Patriots, which is a son of a bitch to track, because they never put that up during the Super Bowl, but that hit. This is another really cool one that I lost on that interception, but kind of what we talked about last week of we didn't see a lot of big plays happening from the offensive standpoint. So it was total touchdown yardage. So all the touchdowns combined that yardage, and it had to be under 105. So you had an 82-yard interception return, which just murdered it.
Yep.
But before that, it was looking good.
Yep, right.
And even take that out, like it was a bunch of 5 or 6 2-yard touchdowns. So
that's true.
Other than that, I was pretty close on that. So I'm not going to be upset. And the other one, this was my favorite, just because it was such a lock and hit so easily, was Falcons minus 13.5 halftime score versus Patriots total. So with the Falcons up 21-3, you already hit right there. So it was kind of cool just because it was such an easy one and you had one in the bag at halftime. But other than that, I just took way too many.
Was the national anthem over or under?
Under. We took under last second. It was ended up going from 2 minutes 7 seconds to 2 minutes and 9 seconds, and we clocked it at finishing right at about 2 minutes.
I had 2:05 because I was actually sweating because I had 2:07.
No. Under. It was way less than
that. I had an inside source text me right before that it's an absolute lock that he goes over. I have somebody with Luke Bryan in the rehearsing room.
Apparently he rehearsed.
Dog's ears
Shut that dog up. But yeah, he just kidding, we're pet friendly. But when he rehearsed, he went over twice. But obviously Luke Bryan, good job, my man. I know you probably had
that was a nice one to start it out well.
I had I got destroyed in all my prop bets. Just crushed. I took Mohamed Sadu every which way.
I think he had a catch.
Oh yeah, did he play? I don't even know. Yeah, he had two catches.
He had a few catches.
He had 2 catches, 25 yards. Fantastic. You know who else had 2 catches?
I think he finished
Pat
last.
DeMarco.
Yeah,
thanks, Pat DeMarco.
He finished last in MVP voting.
Yeah, he did. He did a very poor job. But that was by far my worst bet. I had the Patriots to commit the first personal foul. Pass interference penalty, and they actually committed 2, and they both got declined. So I was really freaking out if I were to lose that one. That would have been a bad beat, and then I ended up getting called on one, so I hit that. But thankfully, to save me a little bit, actually a lot of bit, we took the Patriots money line when they were down 28-9.
That was a great
right
call.
when they were about to get the ball back. You kind of just knew. So we took them live at about almost plus 500, and I took them plus 6.5. So made up a lot there.
That made up a lot of ground.
I made up a lot of ground, but yeah, that was pretty much it. As far as I go,
it's crazy that they said that when it was 28-3, that if you put 100 back, it would have came back what, $2,000? Did you hear that?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially after the Falcons. Yeah.
Did you have any props?
Yeah, I had props. I had one. It was a real kick in the balls. I told you guys last week under 21 points in a quarter, which I did not get, unfortunately.
Which quarter screwed that?
Fourth quarter.
No,
the second quarter.
Second quarter. Yep.
Because it was 0-0. It was 0-0 at the end of the first, and second quarter was 21-3. So that was brutal.
Ooh, that's a rough one. Yep.
That was brutal. I was really shocked that the national anthem stayed under. I didn't bet it, but I wanted to bet it. I just completely forgot about it until it was too late. I was actually in the other room. I wasn't watching it. I was listening. And I was like, man, this sounds like it's going really, really long. I was like,
started long.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was like, this is definitely hitting the over.
Yep.
So I'm surprised that it didn't hit the over. And another reason why it may have sounded really long to me was because it was just his voice. There was no other music, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, and there was like no guitar behind him. There's no strings behind him. It was just his voice. So it just seemed like it was really long.
Yeah, I read an article about that, which is embarrassing. It was like way too long of an article to care that much about. But basically, if they have a band there, the band gives more musical scores and breaks, and that tends to drag it out. If it's just them a cappella, if it's just them a cappella,
is that a synonym for dejected and miserable?
They tend to speed up a little bit because they don't have that reference or that music to slow them down.
How about
that was the only reason I took the under.
How about I lost on the coin flip as well. I took heads, but I'll tell you what, man, that was the worst coin flip I've ever seen. I understand George is going through some stuff, but man, I don't know what he did with that coin. I think it hit someone's cleat, but I knew as soon as
he didn't get any air on it. It fell out of his hand.
Granny balled that thing, and I knew I was doomed. But yeah, that was pretty much it for props. So did you guys watch the halftime show?
Obviously. I mean, I did. We didn't tune into Puppy Bowl, but real quick, before we get to that, one more bet, just because I want to advise everyone to never, ever take it, is kickoff returns.
Okay.
So kneels, touchbacks, none of that stuff counts. It's only actual returns, which is borderline impossible to track. So towards the end of the game, I had no idea where it was at. I still don't. I think it hit. The over was at 4, but there's no point in taking that. It was stupid. And it's impossible to follow.
I hated watching you
try and ask, hey, did they? Because it's after a commercial and they come back, and sometimes I feel like they don't even televise the kickoff. But anyway. On to Lady Gaga, which your mom was fired up about.
My mom was fired up. She gave us some decent information now, looking back. I mean, it was possible for her.
It was wrong, but it wasn't as wrong as
it was okay. So, Mom, sorry. Your information was better than no information. My mom was pretty fired up, though. She started texting me throughout the halftime show. And I'm just going to kind of read them off to you. She said, "My source sucks, and so does this show so far.
Well, the helicopter was a far-fetched plan.
Cheesy as fuck. What the fuck cost $10 million? It's like seeing her in concert. No big deal or nothing special. Let's see if Beyonce comes out." Mom, you knew she's pregnant with triplets?
Twins.
Cheesy, 6 exclamation points. I can't believe all the hype over this. She's a great singer, but nothing special. Stupid radio guide jerk off. Stupid and cheesy. If I have to see one more crotch shot, holy shit, man.
I didn't think it was that bad, but I did think it was funny that as soon as it was over, every single person that works for Fox was like, "That was amazing. That was wonderful." Yeah. Let's just tell the people it was wonderful, and then they'll believe it and not even argue. And it's like, okay, it was okay.
Yeah.
One thing, I want to get this in because I'm an HVAC guy. When you open the roof, all the air conditioning goes right out that roof. So that alone, I'm not kidding. That alone, from an energy efficiency standpoint, probably cost $250,000. Because you got to close the roof and then cool the whole building back down. It's my one little engineering rant. Easily $250,000 right there.
Saying you're an HVAC guy is like saying you're a doctor when you're a dentist. You're a door-to-door air conditioning salesman.
I'm not a door-to-door.
I'm just kidding.
Saying I'm an engineer if I was an HVAC guy would be a stretch.
We've already praised you for your engineering skills.
No one has. And there's nothing to praise.
So Greg or Drew, were you